Hi folks, Florida Man here. Today I'm going to explain one of diplomacy's classic openings, the Lepanto. This is a maneuver developed by Eddie Berson, intended to help Austria and Italy, who are relatively weak and vulnerable in the early game, to confront Turkey, who has one of the strongest natural defensive positions in the game. It's named after the Battle of Lepanto, in which Spanish and Italian forces, under an Austrian commander, destroyed a Turkish fleet. We'll discuss the basic Lepanto in this video, not the Key Lepanto, the Blue Water Lepanto, or any other variants which I think deserve their own videos. So the way the Lepanto works is that in spring 1901, Italy moves its Naples fleet into the Ionian or Tyrrhenian Sea, and moves the Roman army south to Naples or Apulia, to be convoyed into Tunis in the fall. Typically, Italy would either order its army in Venice to hold while doing all this, or even vacate Venice, so that Austria will feel more secure to vacate Trieste and go after Greece. But the truth is, Venice can do lots of different things, and it's not really needed for this opening in any case. Austria also doesn't need to do anything specific for this opening, but for maximum effectiveness, Austria would be attacking Turkey at the same time as Italy. Hopefully Russia can be persuaded to join in, or distracted with a shiny object, or Russia can at least be held off from really helping Turkey. The main thing in that regard is just for Austria to keep Russia out of Galicia. In 1902, Italy moves its fleets out to East Mediterranean, or the Aegean Sea, ideally the former, especially if Turkey hasn't put any fleets in the southern waters yet, and Italy convoys into the Turkish area. From there, it's usually very difficult for Turkey to defend Smyrna and keep Italy from pulling its other fleet into Turkish waters, and once Italy starts pushing the wedge in further, Turkey ends up cracking like a walnut in a vice. There are unfortunately a number of weaknesses to this common strategy that have been revealed over the many years in which it's been played. In some cases, there's an effort to pretend the Lepanto isn't happening, but unfortunately this is usually unsuccessful. In fact, in terms of the diplomacy meta, the biggest weakness of this opening is that it's extremely common in many diplomacy communities, and therefore extremely predictable. And if Turkey predicts it, there are common defenses to the Lepanto, mainly involving having fleets to defend the sea spaces around Turkey, and or putting a unit in Syria, which is where Italy usually tries to land its initial convoy. In order to pretend the Lepanto is something other than what it is, you can try doing a coordinated bounce in Venice or Trieste or something, or you can move to Tyrrhenian Sea before the convoy rather than Ionian Sea. Or you can engage in hardcore persuasion efforts and brainwash the Turk into believing that Italy and Austria are actually permanent enemies who hate each other. But the bottom line is that bouncing in Venice or Trieste is a waste of a valuable Austrian unit, moving to the Tyrrhenian Sea costs you momentum and risks making France angry, and trying to persuade Turkey that the Lepanto isn't happening when Turkey can see you making Lepanto movements is only believable if Turkey was warned yesterday. Another weakness is that France might attack Italy while the two of you are trying this attack on Turkey. If France does that, France has pretty good odds of success, and Austria and Italy will probably be caught in a pincer move between a likely Turkish and Russian attack in the east and a French invasion in the west. Unfortunately, in the early game, Italy is at a major disadvantage against France, unless Italy has an ally against them, so this is typically a fatal problem for the parties to the Lepanto. However, getting outnumbered is always a problem for any alliance in diplomacy. A more serious problem with the Lepanto is that it's slow and lacks overwhelming power and decisive force. If the Austrian and Italian play are ally, it's very likely that Russia and Turkey are working a juggernaut alliance. If so, the juggernaut usually beats the Austro-Italian alliance, in my experience, because the Lepanto is too slow to reach Turkey and doesn't have the same stopping power as the combined Russian and Turkish assault on Austria that's taking place while Italy carefully arranges its fleets. This is a frequently fatal issue, and it's the reason why bolder players may reject the standard Lepanto in favor of one of its similarly named cousins. There's also the problem that the Lepanto tempts the Italian to stab Austria. This isn't such a serious problem, since every alliance Austria can make in the early game tempts the other player to stab Austria to some degree, and at least here you're keeping most of your units away from the Austrian homeland. However, the weaknesses above are frequently enough to keep the standard Lepanto from being played, or to keep it from being successful. Players often find more success with a more unorthodox strategy, while some Italians prefer to go after France or just attack Austria itself in the early game, while some Austrians partner with Russia or Turkey. Still, with the continued popularity of the Juggernaut combination and the continued relatively weak early game positioning of Austria and Italy, the Lepanto will always be a favorite. Its advantages will more than outweigh its disadvantages for large numbers of players in the above circumstances, and with good reason. I hope you've enjoyed listening to the Lepanto opening explained. I plan to do more videos explaining common opening moves and strategies, just as I've been making videos on the basics of playing as each power, and other more general strategy content. Let me know what you thought of this one in the comments. If you liked it, the best way to let me know, of course, is by liking the video and subscribing. It's my hope that we'll hit 1,000 subscribers sometime soon. Florida Man Diplomacy thanks those names who now appear on screen for their support of this channel through Patreon and subtitle transcriptions respectively. You too can join them by following the Patreon link in the description, or by reaching out to me and letting me know what language you can translate to that isn't covered already. Thank you for sticking with us in 2022, and until next time, Florida Man out.